Let's play some hockey.
You are watching Gouche Live, featuring Paul Rosen, brought to you by the good people of the Hockey News and, of course, Sports Illustrated.
Yep, and Paramount Sports Management. And Gouche, you know what? I brought out the old Hawk T-shirt. This one fit me much better years ago when I was much lighter. But I haven't worn this since we had Brett Sopel on, and brought it out for one of my favorite all-time Hawks. Was very upset when the Hawks traded him for Alexei Zhamnov, of all people, to Phoenix. But, man, JR, what a Hawk.
Stop brown-nosing.
I don't
have a Hawks. I don't have a Hawks, even though the Chicago Blackhawks were my mom's favorite team, as you know. But I want to go into the Jamie Roenick, the JR, obviously, for the United States team. We're going to be talking Team Canada, Team USA, and nobody better than him knows all about it. A 9-time National Hockey League All-Star, 2-time U.S. Olympic men's ice hockey team member. Jerry Roenick was one of the hockey's, he's a top, I think, American-born players on both the professional and the international. He had 1,216 points in 1,363 games. Hey, this guy is a legend, and I'm really excited that we have him on the program tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Roenick. Hey, JR, how are you?
What's up, Kerry? How you guys doing? What's up, Rosie? How things?
Things are good. Things are good.
Hey, Kerry, I know my name is tough to pronounce, but
You know
we'll get it. We'll get it at one time during the show.
You call him James. But you know what?
Butchering my name right now.
JR, I've been with Gouche.
You gotta get the marbles out of your mouth.
JR, I've been with Gouche for like 15 years. We've done over 300 shows. The one thing you got to know about the Gouche is names are not his forte, no matter what. He calls his wife the wrong name sometimes.
I apologize profusely. I thought it was a Russian name, so I am so bad with Russian names, JR. I'm just going JR. Jeremy Roenick.
That's all you need to do, buddy. That's all you need to do.
Jeremy
awesome.
Roenick.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with the Russians. The Russians are pretty damn good, if you ask me, but not last night against Canada. Not last night against Canada. They didn't show up.
Yeah.
No. Listen, you have an incredible list of achievements here. I'm not going to go through them all. Everybody knows how great you were and are still. So I want to get right into, we want to take a few minutes to talk about your career. I know Paul's an avid, he just didn't wear that T-shirt because he wanted to impress you. He is actually a Chicago Blackhawks fan. So Paul, I give you the honor to ask the first question to Jeremy Roenick.
Yeah. Well, first of all, JR, absolutely. It is for all of my buddies who are massive Hawk fans, and I know you played with a lot of different teams, but anybody that knows Jeremy Roenick knows you are a Hawk, and that's the bottom line. I don't care even if you say different, you're a Hawk. One thing I want to ask first before we get into it, I just want to say our prayers and thoughts go out for a speedy recovery to one of your teammates, not for a long time, Stevie Ludzik. Battling hard. Got a message this afternoon to say something. So I know you agree, and Gouche agrees, and Ludzik, get better, brother. He's what a hell of a guy.
Yeah, Ludzik's one of the best that's ever been created. One of my favorite teammates. He's when you play with somebody for a small amount of time, and I played with Ludzik for about 2 years before he split ways with the Hawks, and that we still keep in contact with each other, and we still have that communication bond at times. And I love Ludzik. All my prayers go to you, Ludzik. You're a fantastic guy, and what you've done in the game is awesome. And we'll be thinking about you through 2021. Let's go, buddy.
Absolutely. So there was a million things I wanted to ask you about the Hawks, but we can only do one thing. So I want to talk to you about that 1 year. Michel Goulet was a good buddy of mine. He brought me in that year. I watched a lot of games, 91, 92, where you lost in the final to to the
Minnesota.
Penguins.
Oh, to Pittsburgh.
Although people will look and go, you lost 4 straight. Every game was a 1-goal game. You could have easily won that Stanley Cup. I want to know what it was like because you were coming up. That was you're up and coming. You were becoming a superstar. What that year was like, because your goaltenders were Dominic Hasek and Ed Belfour. You had Chelios. You had Roenick. You had Larmer. What a team. What was that season like, JR?
It was pretty amazing, especially through the playoff run. We struggled in the first round. We were actually down 3-2 or 2-1 in the first round, and rattled off 3 straight wins, and then went on just to absolutely wipe out the next 2 rounds and win 4 straight. So, going into the finals that year, we had won 11 games straight, which was an NHL record, and we felt we were unbeatable. Although going into the finals against the Pittsburgh Penguins, defending Stanley Cup champions, as we both know, they beat Minnesota the year before. We knew that we were in for a big test. They came in a 7-game win streak. So you just made mention of it. They beat us 4 straight. So at the end, we both had the record for the longest winning streak in playoff history, which is a pretty amazing thing. That Pittsburgh team, I think, had 8 or 9 Hall of Famers on that team. It was probably one of the most stacked teams I've ever played against. And I remember the first game, actually, Rosie, we were up 4-1 in that first game. And it was, we felt we were rolling. And all of a sudden, Jaromir Jagr absolutely undresses our entire line that was on the ice at the time, including Eddie Belfour, and scored one of the biggest goals that I've seen in playoff history, because the momentum after that goal, after it lifted the whole igloo, off its moorings. And it was a demoralizer for us. And after that, they just seemed to steamroll us. I mean, they were close games. It wasn't like we got blown out in any games. They were all pretty much 1-goal games. Yeah. But, I remember Mario Lemieux scored a goal from behind the net, throwing it off the back of Eddie's knee, and he did it on purpose. He had a hole like this big, and he put it through it. It was an amazing team. Our team was amazing. I mean, look, we had Chelios, like you said, Steve Smith. We had Michel Goulet, Steve Larmer, Chris Chelios, myself. I can go on and on down the line about how deep our team was. But, I remember the story, and I think about it now, and I use this story a lot when I talk to a lot of players. We had in the finals to take advantage of this finals. Steve Larmer's like, buddy, we have to win this. I said, because this might be the last opportunity that you have to win a Stanley Cup. And this is my 4th year in the league, 3rd year in the league. I'm only 22 years old. Yep. And here Steve Larmer is telling me that this might be the last chance. And I'm like, yeah, right. Hopefully I got another 16 years to go. And, sure as hell, that was my only shot at the Stanley Cup. So his kind of advice came to fruition to try to didn't take advantage of it, but it kind of makes you think to take every opportunity that you have and really grasp it by both hands and do as much as you can to try to overcome and win, because you never know when you're going to have that opportunity again. So give it your all. So, but that was a pretty unbelievable year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's so many stars that have had great Hall of Fame careers that never won a Stanley Cup. At least, the Charmer got a chance in '94 with the Rangers to win one. I want to ask you a follow-up on your. By
the way, can I interject there real quick?
Sure.
I totally agree with you. And it sucks to be one of those names to be associated with the best players never win a cup. I am praying. Okay. I'm going to pray through 2021 that Joe Thornton doesn't join that list of names, and that Toronto wins the Stanley Cup for Joe Thornton, because I love him to death, and it would be a shame if he went through his career without winning a Stanley Cup.
Amen. That would be. I'm not a Leaf fan. I met Bobby Hull in '66 with my brother. Became a Blackhawk fan from 1966. So I'm not a big Leaf fan, even though I've lived my whole life in Toronto. But for Joe, I agree with you. It would be great if he won the cup. I wanted to talk to you about your toughness. The inner toughness. I had a chance to meet you a few times. You'd never remember me. But back when Goulet was coming up, there was a product that I had, Michelle Wear, a back protector, back in the '90s. but I loved the way you played the game. When you said something, you backed it up. I remember you playing with the broken jaw and spitting blood and not missing a shift. Where did that toughness come from?
You know, it came from those early days in Chicago, being an early Blackhawk when Mike Keenan made sure that everybody played the same way, that everybody played with pain, that you sacrificed to win games, that you put your team ahead of yourself. So Mike Keenan was that guy that instilled the mentality that nobody's going to push us out of a game. We're going to do whatever it takes to win a game. And I think everybody wants to be respected when they're playing. I think everybody wants to have a good reputation. And I was a brash kid. I was a loudmouth. I was arrogant. I was cocky. I had an ego. But, you know, I do feel that I went out and backed it up and played hard to do it. You know, when you get me off the ice and get me into public, you know, I'm a good guy. I do things for charity. I take the time to stop for fans. I sign autographs. I talk to them for a while. I never refuse an autograph. I always have time for a conversation. You know, I always say thank you to the fans for being supportive, for being fans, for allowing us to have that stage to perform in front of them. But on the ice, I didn't want anybody to get the better of me, and I was going to do whatever it took to win. And I wanted to be a guy that could be depended on. I wanted to be a guy that when the chips were down, when you needed something to happen, other people said, "Well, we got JR. We can rely on him to be there." And that's a big compliment when you're talking about sports. I didn't want to be a guy that says, "Oh, well, let's just push hard on Roenick. He's gonna fail. Let's hit him around. We're gonna push him out of a game." I wanted them to fear me offensively. I wanted them to know that I was going to be there defensively, and I wanted them to fear me physically. And I liked playing the game hard. Mike Keenan made me hit hard, and I used my speed, not my weight. I used my velocity, not my weight. I was 150 pounds when I played for him, and I found that the fans really gravitated to that physical aspect of my game. But I hated losing. Man, I hated losing more than I liked winning. And I would do whatever it took to win. And I loved my teammates, and I would do whatever it took to help my teammates win. There might be a lot of people who said that I wasn't a good teammate because of my mouth, or think I was too individual. But I was always there to sacrifice, and I always there played in pain and did what I had to do to win. And you cannot deny me that. I think that embodiment that I tried to portray. So.
No question.
You know, good question. I know I'm talking a lot, but somebody asked me a question that I actually couldn't answer fully to the fullest extreme. Someone asked me to name a player, and especially a player now, that played the way that I did, as physical, hit the way that I did, game in, game out, fought. I had over 50 fights in my NHL career. Scored as many goals, assists, penalty minutes, all that wrapped up into one. But it's that who plays like you played. Yeah. And I honestly, I can't say Ovechkin, because Ovechkin, his assist totals, or maybe defensively, he's a better goal scorer. Maybe he didn't hit as much as I hit, but playmaking ability, I had a better playmaking ability than Ovechkin. Maybe Brendan Shanahan, but Brendan Shanahan was a fighter and a tough guy, but didn't hit as hard or as often as I did. Some people say Jamie Benn, but Jamie Benn can't score like I scored. So, I know I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's hard for me to find a player that had every single aspect at the level that I played. And you know what? I'm taking that to the grave with me. And whether I'm in the Hall of Fame or not, whether they ever let me in there or whether they ever think I'm worthy enough for it, that doesn't matter. I know in my own heart that I played this game as hard as anybody, and I was there every night, and that's all I could do.
Amen.
Wow, no question. Hey, JR, listen, we've got a compliment here. If I could coach a team of JRs, we would win the Stanley Cup every year. Your grit, your determination, your passion, your commitment to the game, as you mentioned. I mentioned it several times at the Hockey Hall of Fame events and all throughout. I think it was Road Hockey to Conquer Cancer. You give back so much. and we're so appreciative of that. And you know what? You're the second highest American-born goal scorer in the National Hockey League. That's going to be tough to beat.
Well, listen, one of my favorite tournaments, World Juniors. It was one of my favorite tournaments to play in. It's been one of my favorite tournaments to watch because it is such a stepping stone to the National Hockey League, and it's a barometer, right? It's a great barometer to watch some of these young kids prepare themselves for the next level, and that's the National Hockey League. To watch the Canadians play and pound on the Russians as they did last night, the way that the Americans were able to hold on against a very gritty Finnish team last night, but the way that you watch that American team move the puck and play, and how skilled they are, how tough they are on the puck. Watching World Juniors is so good for me because these kids are hungry and they want it and they desire it so bad. To watch the talent, watch this Trevor Zegras play as well as he did and represent America the way that he has. Just last year he was supposed to be on the fourth line. Now he just passed me in total points for the World Junior tournament. It took a long time. Jordan Schrader actually passed my record a few years back, but he played in 3 World Juniors. I played in 2, so there's a reason why he passed me, but not so much Trevor Zegras. 10 games this kid has the amount of points that he has, 26 points I think he has now. That is absolutely incredible, and I'm so proud of this kid and that he's representing the United States.
Well, listen, 1989, you had a heck of a World Juniors tournament all-star, led the scoring in 89. You've been in 9 all-star games in the National Hockey League. One of the things some people may forget, 1991 Canada Cup silver medal, and of course 2002 Olympic Games silver medalist. Talk to us about tonight. You've been here. You know what's on everybody's mind. What's going through the Team USA right now? What are they thinking? Obviously, everybody's predicting Canada. I said Canada, US. I didn't believe that the Russians had the team, and we've got that now. Tell us what the kids are thinking.
Well, first of all, they're excited to be in this situation. This is a position that they've dreamed of. Obviously, everybody wants to play either college or pro, but a lot of these kids have dreamed right now to be in the World Junior spotlight, being in the final, and against their ultimate rival, the Canadians. There is no bigger platform than these guys are getting ready to play at tonight. They are nervous. They are excited. I'm sure the butterflies are flying all through their bodies, and they want to take advantage of this situation. They know they have a good team. They know they can beat Canada. They know they're right on par. They know they're one of the world's best teams and a powerhouse. But they know that they're playing their ultimate rival, and that's the Canadians. And remember when the U.S. beat the Canadians a couple years back in Toronto? It was a major development for USA Hockey. And they know that this is another big step to showing who is the best powerhouse in the world as of hockey, and it's a big barometer for hockey. This World Junior Championships.
Absolutely. We all think of 1972, of course, 1980, but this one, when it comes to the passion, as you mentioned earlier, the way these kids play, they leave it all on the ice. So it's incredible. Amazing. I know we're bringing Paul back up. He has a question for you. Then we'll bring our good friend, the Flying Frenchman. He says he knows everything about Team Canada, but I know, JR, there's no way he's going to outword you when it comes to Team Canada, Team USA. Paul.
Yeah, JR, I wanted to ask you one last thing. I know that the U.S. does this a lot. I played 10 years goalie for the sled team, the Canadian sled team. And as we started to progress in the Olympics in 2006 in Torino, Joe Sakic came in and talked to the boys. And, just before the Worlds in 2008, Stevie Yzerman talked. And then we had Gretzky come in before Vancouver. And I know the U.S. team does this all the time. If you had the opportunity to go into the dressing room tonight and speak to the boys, as one of the greatest U.S. players of all time, what would you say to them?
I think I'd say a few things. I'd say number one, this team that they are on, this is the last time they will ever play together. There's the last time they will ever be together as a group. And I know a lot of them play, on the same team growing up, and with the U.S. development camp and the U.S. development team, and to know what their ultimate goal is. Number one is to make a mark on USA Hockey, to make a mark in World Junior history, right? To be one of those few U.S. teams that have ever conquered the championship and won that championship at the World Junior. So you have an opportunity to be one of the very few teams ever to do that. I mean, you look how long the World Junior's gone and how many times the U.S. has won that championship. So they can join a very small group, number one. But number two, that all eyes are on them. All eyes are on the red, white, and blue, and the people that are watching at home that these kids are representing. And it becomes a lot about being a patriot and being, having so much pride in your country. You're playing for an entire country, and everybody's rooting behind you. It's not city by city. It's every state. It's every fan, and it's your kind of your last really trial or tryout in front of major NHL scouts that are going to either test the guys that haven't been drafted, or the guys that have been drafted, for these scouts to say, this guy is going to be a very important part of our team, where we're going to slot him come camp time, what kind of attention he's going to have during camp. And they can really set their future NHL status by how they play in these big situations. You want to be known as a gamer. Yeah. And if you can come through in a big tournament like this and play your best hockey, you better believe that the team that drafted you, or the team that's going to draft you, they draft you because of that timely grit and how you play in the big situations, whether you're nervous or whether you're cool and calm under pressure. All these things are going to be front and center for these guys. And like I said earlier before, you have an opportunity, take advantage of it. Don't let it slip through your fingers, because you'll regret it the rest of your life.
Well, obviously I was nervous when you came on, so I had the jitters, pronouncing your name wrong.
Yeah,
I will not do that again, JR. I'm a gamer. You know that. Hey, listen, I want on the right-hand side, on the right-hand side, before we bring Francois up, I just like this is going to be really entertaining. You two going at it.
I love these little chat lines. This Val is making me laugh, man. I love Val.
Yeah.
There you go, Val.
Yeah. So here's what I want to do on the right-hand side. A couple of comments. I wouldn't mind getting them in. Tobias Martin, all the way from Hanover, Germany, really good friend of mine, big fan of the show. He has to put in, it's a mess that you're not in the Hall. Is there any other player who scored 500 goals, 1,200 points? We all agree with that. Another, all the way from Krefeld, this gentleman is our European correspondent. We spare no expense on Gouche Live, having correspondents all around the world. Hans is coming in and saying, you played in Cologne, 94, 95. Quickly, just tell us, what kind of a memory was that?
Love that. It was a great memory. I love that. Love that picture right there. That was me in the Kölner High, the Sharks. I am German. My whole family's from Germany. So to be able to go and play in Germany for a short period of time was pretty exciting for me. The city of Cologne was amazingly receptive. Made some really good friends there. And, I didn't play there long, but the fact that I got to play in a European, setting, fans singing, fans, going crazy, the uniforms and the big arenas was a lot of fun for me. So good memories in that aspect. Yeah.
Hey, listen, of course, Kölner Hyatt, brought to you by the International Hockey Archives. That picture, Jared, you played with Peter Draisaitl. Remember him?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Peter's a pretty special guy. Pretty special hands. Wasn't the toughest of players, no. But boy could he play? Could he dangle? Just a phenomenal guy too. Yeah, Peter Draisaitl was a fantastic guy. Good teammate.
All right, final 2 points before we bring our buddy up. How was it putting on the Blackhawk jerseys when you were called to one more shift at the United Center? Man, that's got to be incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool. I hated as much as many of my fans hated when I departed the Sharks in '96, and kind of wonder where my career, my life would be if I stayed in Chicago my entire career. So to be able to come back and get honored by the Blackhawks and them having the class to allow me one more time to put that jersey on, stand at the blue line for that national anthem, which we know is so iconic, with everybody screaming and yelling, and pretty much sends chills right down your spine. it was a really special thing. I think the Hawks have done an amazing job over the last 10 years, 15, 12 years of getting the fans into that building championships, taking care of their players, taking care of their fans, and taking care of their alumni. They brought back Chris Chelios, and obviously they have the ambassadors group that does a lot of great things, for the fans. And I was really, really, really proud that they thought about me to bring me back. So I've thanked them many, many times, and I can thank them again for allowing me that opportunity.
Well, you're not only a great hockey player, a legend of the game, a great ambassador, but I can honestly say I love the way you played. A great entertainer. One of the things that the sport misses sometimes.
Well, I think we need more of that. I think we need more of that. I think we need more guys with personality that aren't afraid to speak the truth, aren't afraid to take chances and be different. That's what fans want to see. They want to see personality. They want to have someone to root for. And I think the better personality, the more you're able to go out there and be on the edge, right? Be edgy. It's not because you're separating yourself from the team. It's because you're trying to create some entertainment. And God knows sports nowadays is a massive entertainment business. And if you don't bring it, you're going to lose the interest of the fans.
Paul, you love this one. 110%, 110%. Cycle it.
Yeah.
JR never said that.
Finish your check. Yeah.
All right, listen, we're bringing Paul, you final comment on that?
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree. I wish there was more personalities in the game. I wish there was more guys like Jer that would say something and back it up and not be afraid that somebody in the media was going to be. And that's how I loved when your media, I went from playing to doing the color commentary. I love the fact that you spoke the way you played and you played the way you spoke. And there's not a lot of guys like that.
Oh, thank you. Thanks to Craig Campbell too. That was a nice little player. I salute you too, Craig. Thank you so much.
He's all the way from Adelaide watching the show.
I love it.
We love Craig Campbell. Hey, listen, this one I wanted to leave this till the end, but Paul, you just put it in. Hey, Jeremy, any plans to get back in the media regularly for hockey, podcasting, YouTube channel, TV? Can you say anything on that, or is it?
Yeah, no, I can. No, I can. I think, I think 2021, I stepped away, or 2020, I stepped away from the game. I stepped away from the spotlight for a lot of reasons. And I think one, to kind of refresh, to kind of sit back and align some of my other businesses that I've been working on, spend a lot of time with the family. The last 10 years, I've been on the road quite extensively. So 2020 was very quiet for me. I would expect 2021 to be a lot louder from the mouth of JR. I'm gonna try to be. I'm gonna try to be a lot more active on the social media. I know my wife and my son keep telling me and reminding me we got to get stuff out there to remind people face relevant again. As I say, 2021. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering where I've been, but I'm coming back with some vengeance. There's no question about it. Soon, very soon, within the next couple of weeks, I'll be launching our own streaming network called No Filter Broadcast with Eric Burns from Major League Baseball and a couple Silicon Valley guys. No Filter Broadcast will have the ability to create our own original content shows and also allow people the opportunity, and myself the opportunity, to broadcast games. So you don't have to listen to the dull, dramatic, cliched, same old boring commentators that you watch on a daily basis on national television. You can actually listen to what we think, and at times it can be maybe a little bit harsh languaged, but I think people want to see honest, real opinions, honest, true analysis of games, not this cliched, blah blah blah. Same comments that you can say about every single game from every single night. They want to hear how the referees did, how the players played, who made the mistakes, what the teams are doing wrong, how bad the GM's being, how bad the coach is, and they want to have a conversation about it. And on No Filter Broadcast, we're going to give people the opportunity to do that, because it's also going to be a very fan-engaged site. What you're going to be able to do is, during my show, I will be able to bring people onto my show and have them engage with me, whether it's they agree with me, they want to argue me, they want to debate me, they want to or they want to just, call me an idiot. I don't care what it is, but it's going to allow fans to ask questions and be a part of the show. And there's no other show like that where you can literally bring fans on, and I can bring them on and I can kick them off. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So,
hey, listen,
yeah.
I think we're going to start it off right now, having Francois, the Flying Frenchman, on talking about the Americans. I want to say before we bring him up, unbelievable, JR. We need more of you in sport. It's too boring. And here is Francois Landreville, the Flying Frenchman. What's going on?
Hey guys, pretty good. Just had a lot of trainings today, so was pretty much on the ice most of the day today. So,
hey, don't pronounce my name wrong at this show, or you're going to be in trouble.
I'll never do that, but it's an honor to be show as a future gamer. I'm not talking about you, Gouche, but JR, obviously.
Is the Flying Frenchman having problems with his Wi-Fi?
Oh yeah, he hasn't paid the bill. It's Quebec.
It's not me. It's Gouche. My Wi-Fi is good so far. So.
Hey, listen, it's called No Filter Broadcast. When is it up?
I kind of lost you guys for a second. So, Francois, you want to ask that one again?
Well, I haven't asked any questions, but it was an honor to. It's an honor to be with a future Hall of Famer, and I was not talking about Gouche there. So
no, he wasn't.
Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup, mon homme. Merci.
All right.
Je t'aime. Hey, listen, it's No Filter Broadcast. Is that when are we going to be able to see it up and running, bud?
Yeah, so No Filter Broadcast. You probably will start seeing things over the social media over the next week. We'll be having a couple clips that are going to be featuring some of our other celebrities like myself, Brian Urlacher, Hank Haney, Simeon Rice, Scottie Pippen. There's going to be a lot of Lance Armstrong. There'll be a lot of guys that will be out there promoting it, and I think you'll be able to see some shows probably somewhere before the end of January. But it's been about a year in the making, and this should be a lot of fun. Can't give you a certain date, but it's a date soon to be here. Trust me.
Well, Paul and I are honored that you're on Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Unbelievable. Thank you for taking time. All right, let's get into tonight's game. Team Canada versus Team USA. We're going to give you the first shot at there, Francois. Tell us why you think Team Canada is going to win. I hope you think that.
Well, it's going to be a tight game, obviously. I think the USA lost to Russia, and, the tight game against the Finns is going to help them quite a bit, going into a battle with Team Canada. What I did not like about yesterday's game with Canada, although it was 5-0 at the end, but I think the third period, they took it a little bit too easy with the Russians. So, what I'm afraid of is all the penalties that they're taking. They're taking more penalties than the U.S. team. And the U.S. team has got one hell of a pretty good power play. So I think that's where it's going to be played. The PK and the PP is going to make a huge difference in that game. Now, with that said, goalie-wise, the Canadians are, that Devon kid is unreal. I mean, the kid was drafted in the 7th round, comparing to most of Team Canada, which I think they've got 19 first-round picks.
Right.
That kid was drafted pretty late and doing a pretty good job with Team Canada with 3 shutouts. So, I think that's where it's going to be played. Goalies. And that PK, if Canada can stay out of the box, they have a good chance of beating Team USA.
Yeah, absolutely. JR, I wanted to ask you about the goaltending that we have it up there. Spencer Knight comes into this tournament with a lot of hoopla. The kid is, in my opinion, playing great. Florida's got an absolute fine. The future, I think Bobrovsky going to be done soon, and Spencer Knight has absolutely played great. If he plays the way he can tonight, I truly believe that they can beat the Canadians. What's your thoughts?
Well, there's no question that they can. And listen, it's a 1-game series, so anything can happen in 1 game. I do think that the Canadians are maybe deeper stacked. I think maybe more poised. I definitely agree with Francois. This Devon has been absolutely spectacular between the nets, but also Spencer Knight has been almost equal. Where I worry, Spencer Knight gave up a really tough goal last night and the tying goal. It was a bad goal, slipped under his arm.
Yeah.
The team rallied for him, got the game winner with 1 minute left. But to get 2 goals scored on you in the third period when you had a game in control, it's going to be really interesting to see whether Spencer Knight can continue to hold that confidence in net, not have any maybe recurring thoughts of the third period of last night's game. Both these teams are extremely talented. They move the puck really well. They're physical. I don't think I've seen 2 teams, and maybe not even in the National Hockey League for a long time, that are as heavy on puck battles as both these teams are. Yeah. They are so good along the boards. They are so good at picking up loose pucks, controlling the puck, shielding the puck, and their awareness of where everybody is on the ice is and their puck movement. It's almost like they're the ESP between these guys on both teams. They're so smooth and skilled. Where it's going to come down to is, I believe what Francios says, it's going to be the special teams. Whoever stays out of the box and stays the calmest is going to win this hockey game. It's going to be very physical because it's Canadian American. There's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the better games that we've seen in a long time, because I think that the talent in this game is as good as we've seen in a long time.
Hey, JR, I want to go to the fact that Team Canada comes out of the chute really quickly. We saw that again last night. How does the Team USA prepare for that? Because you can't get off to a sluggish start. They got to be at the top. What do you say?
It's easy. The preparation is easy for these guys. They know what they're getting. They're getting Canada. They're getting their arch rival. They're getting the team that they have hated to play against their entire lives. And you don't need to say anything more than that. They know that the Canadians hate to lose to the Americans. They know they're going to come out and what they're going to throw at them. If anybody is surprised by the start of this game, then they don't deserve to be in the game in the first place. They got to be ready to get hit. They got to be prepared for an onslaught of speed and one shift after another, because there are no breaks tonight. There will be no breaks. I believe this is the biggest rivalry in international hockey. Some might say Finland, Sweden, some might say Czech, Russia, but I think that Canada-US has become the #1 rivalry. But some might say Russia, Canada, but I think this is the #1 rivalry in international hockey. And these guys know that they're going into probably one of the biggest wars that they've ever been associated with, and I think everybody will be prepared.
I agree with you, JR. Not only with the special teams, but if you're looking at the forwards, you've got on both sides. You've got Cousins on one side with I think he's got like 16 points and he's in the plus and plus 12 or something, and Zegnas on the US team that has got also 16 points. And my disappointment with Team USA, some people, I've seen Cole Caulfield play a little bit, and I don't think I think he took it easy, a little bit too easy at the midterm of this tournament. But I think the Team Canada has to watch him, because he's going to be hard to check today, and I think he's going to make a difference. He's a player that can make a difference in this final, especially now that he's playing with the Montreal Canadiens and playing against Team Canada. I think he's going to want to look pretty good, and I think if Team Canada puts too much attention on that kid, it might be dangerous for them.
Yeah, it is. They have a lot to look at. I mear are a few players that the Canadians have to look for. It's obviously Trevor Zegras is lighting the lamp like something fierce. 6 and 9 goals, 6 and 10 assists, 16 points. He's one of the better playmakers that I've seen in a long time. He sees the ice better than most NHL players. So watching him has been really impressive. You got to watch out for Kaliev too. Kaliev is having himself a damn good tournament. Moynihan's played very well. They got some guys that are gamers, and Farnakachi had a good game last night. Farakachi was very, very evident in terms of his ability to score goals. So you can't just watch one person. Everybody, there's about 4 or 5 guys on an American team that can step up and hurt you, and there's no question that the Canadians are going to have their eye on them big time.
I agree. And if you look at the the size of both teams, I think the Canadians are a little heavier and taller on forwards, but if you look defensively, it's extremely similar. So if the Canadian wants to have a chance on beating USA, I think those forwards will have to finish their checks on the defensemen and force them to make plays fast.
Yeah, and I think also too the American defense like to jump into the play. They have some really good skaters. Jake Sanderson is an extremely good skater. I don't know if you've watched him much in this tournament, but his ability to get up the ice and the poise that he has with the puck has been pretty impressive for me to watch. But to finish your checks on their defensemen in the opposing zone, to not allow them to jump into the play, is going to be a big factor for the Canadians. They play physical game as it is, but the more that they can pound them along the boards and make their minutes harder is going to really pay a toll down the stretch. They could get tired, and Canadians could take advantage of that. But physicality is going to be really important as far as the Canadians forwards are going to have to be on the American defense.
With that said, sorry, Rosie, but the Americans have played so far a few games. I mean, they haven't stopped. And if you look at the Canadian players, most of them have hardly played any games this year. So if they want to start hitting and finishing their checks, they might get tired also pretty fast. So that's what I'm scared of just a little bit. So that's why I think it's going to be.
That's where the coaching comes into play, right? Yeah. The coaching, making sure they have short shifts, knowing when your guys are ready, making sure that they're not burning out too many guys, using too many guys. But that's where the coaches are going to have to relay the message that we're going to have to be short, going to be hard. Any extended shifts with physicality is really going to pay a toll. So that's going to come down to coaching and the message that the coach is going to send to the players.
And that's what Torigny has been doing too. Canadian coach, he's been playing his 4 lines, resting his players, especially at the end against the Czechs, the Russians, and all that. So, and I think that might help a little bit the Canadians. But if they want to play that physical game like they're usually used to, they will have to gauge their energies big time. So
yeah, I agree.
I want to ask you both my final thought. When this tournament would end, and this is very different from all the World Juniors going back to when it started, boys. This tournament's going to end tonight. And whoever's going to win the gold will win it, and the silver. Normally, they'd all be leaving tomorrow for their teams, whether they'd be going to their NHL club or down to their Q team or a college or W or O. There's a lot of these players that come tomorrow, don't have anywhere to play hockey. What do you think that's weighing on? As JR, your career, what do you think that would be like for some of these guys? Obviously, tonight they're thinking about nothing but gold. But in the back of their mind, are they thinking, what am I doing tomorrow?
Well, I think I'm talking for Canadian players, it's going to be probably they won't think about it until everything ends tonight. But it might be a little harder, and now with the NHL restarting and the AHL restarting on February 5th, but that might open a few doors for a few of those players. And the NHL teams now able to carry players. They will look at the draft picks that they're having during that final, and they might take a decision after that game. So probably a few of those players will join the NHL teams. So I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think the fact with COVID, I think there's going to be a lot of different aspects to who gets carried longer by these NHL teams. There is no question that there are going to be more players that are going to be coming in and out of the lineup. Guys that do come down with the virus are going to come fast and furious, and we know that's going to happen. And it's going to probably create more opportunities for these young kids to stick around longer. So, Nothing is usual anymore in our lives in sports. So I think these kids have a really cool opportunity to make their mark and to give these teams a really good reason why they want to give them the best look come their first day at training camp before the season starts.
Listen, JR, we can't thank you enough. We only got a couple more minutes with you. I know you're very busy. I want to ask you, did you get a chance at all for our German followers here? Did you get a chance to see Tim Stützle?
I really didn't. I've watched a lot of hockey, but usually I watch Canada and I watch US. I haven't been able to watch any of the other teams, but that will be amping up. But anybody that comes out of Germany, I will definitely soon follow, because I just told you that I am all German. I have a very my daughter lives in Germany right now, so I have I kind of have a keen. She's a place called Vechta. She's a professional equestrian up in Vechta, which is northwest, in the horse country of Germany. So
all right, yeah.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen her in about 14 months due to COVID, but she's alive and well.
Well, I lived 17 years there. It's a fantastic opportunity. Listen, I wanted to ask on the two teams as we leave you go in a few minutes. Is there any surprise on the USA team? Is there a JR in this game? Somebody that's going to go out there and just rough and tough and make sure he puts the team on his back and brings home a gold?
I think that, this is an easy answer. It's easy to talk about the kid who's leading the team in points, and Trevor Zegras, but the kid seems to love the situation. And, for him to play as well as he did last year and have 9 assists when he was probably pinned to play on the fourth line, this kid has made major jumps to get to the point that he is at. Watching him on the power play and how he can control the puck and the way he moves the puck, all is going to be on his shoulders, and Kaliev is going to be right there with him. This kid's a big, strong, fast kid, but when it comes down to it, it's going to come down to Spencer Knight and whether he can hold off the barrage that he's going to feel from Canada. He's a good-sized goaltender, covers a lot of the net, but I'll tell you right now, he can't have any of those weak goals go in like he did in last night's third period, that tying goal that slipped under his arm. Spencer Knight's going to have his best game of his life in order to come out with a gold medal for the U.S. tonight.
All right, we're going to bring the boys up, just say goodbye, but I want to ask you about, obviously, the NHL. Would be remiss if we didn't get a comment from you. One of our followers, a big follower out of Australia, Paul, knows that he's been Team Canada's coach. We've had a bunch of Team US coaches for our Ice Hockey Classic down in Australia. We're hoping someday, JR, you can come down and be a part of it, because I'll tell you what, your entertainment value would sell out the building. So I want to ask you this question from a good follower down there. He's wondering, as we see the divisions come up, do you ever think the Sharks, everybody, with our buddy Brent Burns, he came over last couple of years ago, and everybody loves the Sharks, but they just haven't got over that hump. Do you think they've got a chance?
Well, I listen, if anybody roots for the Sharks more than I do, I'd love to see them. Doug Wilson is one of the most inspirational people in my life, and probably the guy that I owe most of my life today. It's another story to be told at another time. He was my first roommate. I almost cried when I heard he made the Hall of Fame this year, and I pray that he wins the Stanley Cup as a GM, because I know how good of a GM he is and how much he cares and how honest of a GM that he is. The Sharks have a tough road. They just lost their ultimate leader in Joe Thornton. I know they lost Joe Pavelski last year, who was their captain, but their motivation and their energy, and the guy that they all look up to in that locker room was Joe Thornton. There is nobody that will replace a Joe Thornton in that locker room. So it's going to be really interesting to see who takes over the reins of making sure that team is a close-knit team, that they have fun playing, that they work hard, that they're accountable, and that that kind of that grandpa sort of feeling that people look up to Joe Thornton, that he will not be replaceable. I love Logan Couture. He's a great captain. We're going to see if Evander Kane can lift his game up to a certain level and keep it there. Hurdle is going to have a big year, but it comes down to goaltending again. If Jones can't play the level of play that he had when he took him to the final, you can't win without consistent goaltending. They have a tough road. They have a big rebuild, but they have good structure and tools in place in order to get there. But I think it's going to take a little bit more time.
Francois, final to JR.
Well, I agree with JR, but I think, knowing Brent Burns, I think he's going to take over and trying to rally that team, the Sharks and all that. So, although he's not a captain of that team, I think he's going to be the guy that they're all going to look up to. And, so that might help the Sharks, but it's going to be a hard road for the Sharks this year. Looking at the Avalanche and the Blues, they're in a tough division.
Golden Knights,
sure.
Boys.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, I played golf with Mark Stone a couple of weeks ago, and he was really excited at his team having Pietrangelo coming over this year. I think Mark Stone thinks that they can be a really difficult out this year. And by the way, that kid can play golf too, man. That kid's a stick. So, yeah.
Well, final thought from me, and I think the Sharks are definitely a few years away. I've called we had our predictions already, and I called the Knights to if not win the Stanley Cup, be in the final. That doesn't mean anything, because if anybody knows my predictions over the last number of years, you want to run the other way when I predict we're going to win. Francois, thanks always for being on. I love the Flying Frenchman. And JR, for a long-time Hawkeye, I will watch anything you put out there.
Thank you.
Cups in 7 years the Hawks have done for diehard fans, so we're pretty happy. But I would pray that up-and-coming future Hawks would look to your career and say, we need another JR in Chicago. And if we get that, we're going to be okay for years.
Agree.
I love it. Well, I appreciate that, Paul, very, very much. Francois, it was great being on with you. Gouche, I definitely will forgive you for carving my name up in the beginning, because you held a great interview here. So it was a lot of fun. Hope we can do it again. And, you guys can take me out to dinner next time I'm up in Canada after US wins the game tonight. So.
Oh, okay. So that's your prediction. All right. So I'm saying Canada in overtime and shootout.
Ashley, yes, I do. Ashley, yes, I do.
Yeah.
They still call me Shy.
And JR, I will never, ever make that mistake again, butchering your name, because I know how tough you are. And so the next time we see each other, I am buying dinner. JR, thank you. We'd love to have you back on.
Thank you.
Love to have you back on the show when you get.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for all the fans for jumping in and sending some of the nice comments too. Kev, Jay, thanks, buddy. I really like it when the fans chime in and say their opinions. It really means a lot.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. We can't wait to see No Filter broadcast. Love to get you on after that. Tell us how great it is, because we'll be watching it. Thanks, JR.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Go USA.
Go Canada.
Oh, boy, here we go. Bye, buddy.
Take care.
Oops. Wow. How did I butcher his name at the beginning? I thought it was a Russian name.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
call
know.
him Jamie, but that's all right. We all
What
knew
did I call him?
Jamie.
He looked like a Jamie.
It's okay. It's just Jeremy. That's fine.
When somebody has a nickname that's so strong like that, like nobody should be calling you Carrie Gooch. It's Gooch.
No.
JR is JR. He's not Jeremy.
Well, you know what the problem is, Paul? A lot of people call me Goulette. So I just get all flustered, right? I don't want to make a mistake. Like it's Valdemar. You don't want to call him just Val anymore.
Is it Val Gamore as opposed to Val? Val, what's the actual name? Yeah, it's not Valerie. We know that.
Look at he's going down.
Why?
Okay, let's quickly.
Valerie is just fine.
No, let's hear the real name, please.
No, it's okay. Valerie is just fine.
Okay,
What's your
bye,
birth
Valdemar.
certificate name?
Valerie.
No,
We're going to steal it, and I'm going to post it up. Hey, guys, before we go, let's talk quickly about the NHL. Of course, it's starting January 13th. January 12th, Francois, we'll have you back. We're going to do it all day. Well, not all day, but a few hours of Toronto, Montreal. We'll be talking about how they look. So talk to us a little bit about the announcement today. The 4 teams, 4 divisions, have sponsorship names to it. Are you a fan of that? Should it just be, let's get through the year without adding too much? We've already added decals to the helmet. Now they're adding this to it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not surprised because they've been doing this in Europe for years. So, I think it was just something that was going to happen eventually. So, and having no fans in the stands, I think it's a way to get more revenue for the NHL as well and the teams. So, I don't mind it. Honestly, I don't mind it this year because I'm going to be watching the games on TV. I don't mind seeing the Bell logo on the Montreal Canadiens helmets. I don't mind that. So not at all. But I think it was going to be part of the NHL anyways eventually. So it was just a matter of time before we start seeing sponsorships either on the helmets or the jerseys or the pants.
Now, let me ask you that as we go here. I don't use nicknames from Kevin Shea. Thank you. It is Kerry. To some people, it's Mr. Goulet. I just want you guys to remember that. Paul and Jeremy, of course. Hey, listen, a good comment comes here. Hey, Gouche, are you related to Robert Goulet, and can you sing like him? I can't sing like him, but I can sing the American national anthem, and that's what made his career. Question for you two experts. I have a question from Al Kerr. Has any player won a gold medal 3 consecutive times at the World Juniors? That would be, I don't think I have that answer.
I don't think so.
What a great question.
If it happened, it would be a Canadian.
I don't think
they won 5 in a row at one time. It would be pretty tough. They're
really tough.
Yeah, play 3 in a row.
I do believe 2 in a row.
Yeah, 2. There's many Canadians that have won 2.
Yeah, 3.
Paul, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Stanley Cup, Olympic gold medal, a junior Memorial Cup. Think anybody's won that for those 4?
Well, I know that Bergeron with Boston won a junior, won a Stanley Cup, won an Olympic gold. I'm not sure about Memorial Cup.
We've had
Oh, sorry, go.
Sorry, I think you were going to say the same thing I was. Go ahead, Kerr.
No, I wasn't actually. I was going to say Jared Scott, all the way from, he was with me when I went over to Australia for the bushfires, met him for the first time. Great guy out in Guelph. He's coming up and saying, I think 3 Canadians have done it. I know Jason Botterill did it, and I met Jason Botterill's, I think it's his uncle in Adelaide. So, wow, thank you. We're going to go with you, Jared. Don't let us down, buddy. We're going to check. We're going to fact check.
That would be because he was a solid defenseman and could have done it, and a guy, not a superstar, but a guy that would have been there for 3 years in a row. And we all know his sister, Jennifer, who is one of the greatest women's hockey players of all time. Look
at this. Liam needs to be on this answer. And then Greg Bowden, thank you for your information. Segrist was a floorball player. So Trevor obviously picked up those hands from playing floorball. Niedermeyer, Scott, I would assume.
Yeah,
so Jason from 94, 95, and 96.
Okay.
World Junior gold medal.
Yep.
There's a great comment here too. Jason was just announced to the Kraken.
Oh,
long live the Kraken.
All right.
He lost his job with Buffalo, so good to see him back in the NHL.
Francois.
Yep.
Final comment on your side.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be a great game tonight. Obviously, it's going to be a closer game than people think, and why not go in a shootout today?
So what are you saying? What's the score?
It hasn't been a shootout since I think 90-something. It's been a long time since they've had.
It's been a long time, yeah. So
hey, Paul, that's a good one. 90-something. That's 10 years.
Wasn't that the Jason?
Didn't want to take any chances.
All right, Francois, what's your prediction? Give us a number.
I say 3-2 Canada.
In overtime.
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask you this one. Finland, Russia.
I say, you know what? I think Russia's going to win that game. It's going to be a close game, 2-1.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Paul, you're up next.
So Russia, I'm going to say Russia's going to win 3-2. in a very close game. I want to see their goalie bounce back. He is he's got a lot of pressure on him, and I think he'll be back next year for his third year. I think Nashville is maybe second guessing a little because he has not looked as good as he should, anyways. And I think in the gold medal game, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be a little more open than close, and I think the Canadians are going to win 4-2.
Okay, Val.
I'm going to go with Russia just because our good friend Igor. So I say Russia will beat, will win, I'll say 3-2 also. And you know what? Let's just have some fun. I think Canada will win it 4-3 in overtime. Why not? A little extra hockey.
Hey, listen, I just hope the goaltender from Russia for Igor doesn't ask me off. Remember I used that?
Why?
Well, he does look like Ben Bishop. He's just as
I
tall
got to
as him,
say
right?
something, guys. I want to say something.
What?
Have you ever seen a goaltender lose his goal stick as
He's
many
done
times
that
as he
so much.
True.
And his glove, he just can't catch the puck right now.
Norm Bowden, is that Normie? Yeah, Norm Bowden, 4-3. I'm going with 5-2 Canada,
Okay.
and I'm going 3-2 because of my buddy Esa Tikkanen, Finland.
Oh,
You got
And I
it.
love Igor Barionov. You know, Igor, if you're watching, I'm sure you are, take some tips.
Yeah.
I want you to win. I want you to win. But Esa said if he wins, he's buying me a bottle of vodka.
aha. So that's going to make 4 bottles of vodka.
And listen, as we leave, I just want to say to you, Francois, we are so blessed that we have the opportunity to be many times at this time in Russia in Belarus, playing for the Belarusian President's Cup of White Christmas. On January 7th, we've won a bronze medal. So proud of you. Thank you for getting me involved in that. I know it probably is going to be, we'll never do it again, obviously because of the fact of what's going on over in Belarus, but It was an honor to be a teammate with you. And it's the only reason why I got the chance is because you got me involved. And Tony and I were so blessed to have you in our life and getting us to go and be in the back of a KGB car.
Oh yeah, yes, I remember that.
Drinking a beer in a KGB car, going through red lights while the bus was following us. You were there. You saw it. I'm not lying.
That was great. Obviously, I'm so happy that I met you guys, and so blessed to have you in my life as well. So thanks again for being there for me. Thanks for Rosie as well. Val, I don't know you as much, but I know these two guys for a long time, and it's great to be on the show, and it's great to be friends with you guys. I really appreciate that.
We'll see you January 12th. Don't forget, we're going to be talking Montreal, Toronto. Toronto starts it off against the Montreal. Obviously, one of the best rivalries of all time. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll get your predictions on January 12th. Paul, on behalf of Gouche Live, featuring Paul Rosen, can't thank you enough. A great show. And we will be talking tomorrow about your life and what you've been going through the last couple of weeks. And we're really excited to find out what Paul's life is right now. You look great, and we're so honored to have you back. And Val, without you, these shows couldn't be that good. Next time, make sure you do phonics. So I say Jeremy Roenick.
I put JR. I thought it'd be easy for you, but
I had to say his goddamn first name. All right, love you guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Everyone.
Well, man.
You're watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen, brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and, of course, Sports Illustrated.
And Paramount Sports Management. Can never forget those guys.
You got it. Tune in tomorrow. Go.
Let's play some hockey.